Constance, can you hear me?
What? What happened?
Some sort of trap led to a dart shooting into your neck. Dr. Mills thinks it's a miracle you didn't die.
Constance, Darryl filled me in with what's happening. It seems implausible, but when trying to neutralize the poison in you, I discovered amazing anomalies in your blood. I would love to hear more. I think I can help.
Thank you for saving me, Doctor. But it's better if you leave town. The ones who are after us will not let you live.
Tell her, Jonathan.
Tell me what?
I can get you into the underground, but I want to come with. My work is to understand a substance, something that might be related to the story Darryl told me. It could be from the fourth dimension.
We won't be able to get into the mansion again.
No need to. I have gear, a map, and a secret entrance I created right here under the floor in my lab.
Darryl, we need to find the source of that feeling. It could be a portal they're using for their plan. We need to stop them.
I know. I warned Dr. Mills, but he insists on helping us.
I also want to have full permissions for publishing anything we find.
That's fine, Doctor. But I doubt you'll understand it enough. We may not even make it out alive.
Hogwash. I can survive any danger. This isn't my first time dealing with hostiles.
Constance, can you move?
Yes. I'm just a little lightheaded. I only survived the poison that long because of what the elders did to me. Since I do not age, my metabolism is slow. My brain also has a defense mechanism. That's why I seemed incapacitated for so long. Thank you for saving me.
I thought you were a goner, but I know you'd do the same for me. I can see the compassion in your eyes.
Now tell me, what is this Light Brigade? I'd like to know my enemies.
They are alternate versions of me and my team, as well as Darryl, possibly others like yourself. They come from alternate dimensions.
Fascinating. I will need to pick your brain of this strange knowledge. I'm not sure it is real, but I am very intrigued.
Jonathan!
He's dead, Darryl.
You are surrounded. Do not try to run. You will come with us, Darryl, or you will have the same fate as your friend back at the mansion.
We need to use this to our advantage. They still think I'm dead.
Jonathan, I'm so sorry. I will miss you, old friend.
I know this is tough, but we don't have time to mourn. I am very sorry. We need to leave the body. We have to get to the underground now. Do you know where the entrance is?
Yes.
We will not warn you again. We will take you whether you let us or not. We want to introduce you to our master, to allow you to be a part of our historic plan. All hail of Cetans Abyssus.
Come on, Darryl. Let's go.
Goodbye, John. Okay. I need your help in the lab.
We're coming in, Darryl. Where's the entrance?
Right here.
Darryl isn't here. We must find him. He could have gone out another way after we killed the other one. No. I think he will find us eventually. He wants revenge now. We killed his two friends. Let's get to the underground and prepare for the Master's plan.
Welcome to the quest for the Green Ball, lost in dreamlands. The playoff field and bracket is set after week 14 gave us the strange and unusual with some major injuries and underperformances. We also are learning league tiebreakers for the first time in that we've never had a division with a three-way tie, and that happened as well. The consolation field got tighter. Several 5-9 teams, actually all 5-9 teams in the consolation quarterfinals. So what are the seeds? Who actually made it into which place? We start with our last with the Asia Pacific Void title and first round bye on the line, with Pounders traveling to take on Risky Business in Sydney, 1842. This one was over quicker than the computers thought, as a 50-50 toss-up turned into another big-time win for Risky Business, who fought off a furious rally by Josh Allen to claim the 128.8 to 109.78 victory. The win gives Risky Business the division title and the number 1 overall seed, with the potential semifinal rematch against Pounders on the docket. This is because Pounders will be the number 4 seed. Josh Jacobs started off the fireworks for what has been one of the better regular seasons in league history for Risky Business. He had 66 yards and 3 touchdowns on Thursday night. Tucker Kraft also reached the end zone on Thursday. It's a good start. Justin Jefferson finally came to life in a big way with 132 yards and 2 touchdowns, including 150-plus yard score. Baker Mayfield had a strong finish to his game as well to end up with 295 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, despite throwing 2 interceptions. And Sam Darnold was on the bench with more points than Mayfield, but Risky Business didn't need him. Kyron Williams added 97 total yards and 2 more touchdowns. More than half of Pounders' points came from an all-time performance by Josh Allen, whose 58.88 points is second most all-time in the league for weekly score for quarterbacks and all players. Only Drew Brees' 60.54 points in Week 8 of 2015 for former league member It Ain't Easy is better. Allen finished with 342 passing yards, 82 rushing yards, and 6 total touchdowns, including 150-plus yard score. James Conner added 122 yards and a touchdown, and Jackson Smith and Jigba also reached the end zone. Both players to watch actually disappointed in this one. It was kind of surprising it didn't even really come down to him. Pounders did not get what he needed from Xavier Worthy, who had just 46 yards. T. Higgins finished with just 27 yards in what ended up being an extremely strange week. Pounders ends up 9-5 overall and will take on the 5th seed in the quarterfinals with the hopes of getting another shot at Risky Business in the semifinals. Risky Business ends the regular season 11-3 overall and gets to relax a little bit in week 15 as the number 1 overall seed with that first round bye.
Hey everybody, Risky Business here checking in after a wild game of the week. 45 points on my bench from Sam Darnold was a little concerning, but Baker Mayfield also showed up, had a great week. Felt good Thursday after a great showing by some of my Packer guys, and then everybody else kind of followed suit by having some pretty good weeks. So was happy to take that home, get the first round bye. That's huge. Definitely wanted to shoot for that, as you never know week in and week out what can happen. So excited for the playoffs, super happy and thrilled to be on a bye this week, and looking obviously to take it all the way to the JIP. So we'll see where we go. As I always do, everybody hopefully has a good end of the season, and hopefully mine is just a little bit better. All right, thanks everybody.
This one was not as close as expected, though Ellen's historic night did bring a little interest back into the match at the end. Xavier Worthy could have went nuts and had a beast game, and maybe it would have been interesting. But what about the European void and the final playoff spots? There was other things on the line in the league this week. Let's check out what happened in the best of the rest. overcomers traveled to Mexico City 1955 to take on the Stellar Bitches, and it was the Stellar Bitches getting the very close 87.66 to 87.22 win. Joe Burrow finished with 369 yards and 3 touchdowns, though he threw 1 interception. Najee Harris added a touchdown, and Darnell Mooney collected 142 yards. The 49ers defense allowed just 162 yards and 13 points, while getting 7 sacks against the Bears. Of course, Joe Burrow, the final touchdown came in the last minute of Monday Night Football that gave the Stellar Bitches the win. The overcomers had touchdowns by Geno Smith, Tyrone Tracy, A.A. Ron Jones, and Cooper Kupp. They also left in an injured Ladd McConkey and 31 points on the bench in a rough finish to the regular season. The Stellar Bitches are 6-8 overall to close the regular season and earn a consolation bye. The overcomers finish 5-9 and will need to play in the consolation quarterfinals. Air Jordan traveled to Chicago 1967 to take on Remember the Titans and close the season with an upset, winning 115.26 to 107.38. Jordan Addison was a maniac with 133 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Rome Odunze caught 2 touchdowns from Caleb Williams. Rico Dowdle chipped in with 141 yards, and the Titans defense added a sack and 2 picks. Andres Carlson kicked 4 field goals and made 2 extra points to also do well. Jamar Chase led Remember the Titans with 191 yards and 2 touchdowns, including that last touchdown by Burrow to Chase on Monday Night Football, but it wasn't enough. Jerry Jeudy and Jamar Gibbs added scores. Jameis Winston had 2 touchdowns, but also threw 2 interceptions. The Buccaneers defense added a sack, an interception, and a fumble recovery while allowing just 13 points. Air Jordan finishes 5-9 and will need to play in the consolation quarterfinals. Remember the Titans ends up 9-5 with the number 2 overall seed and a first-round bye. In the Asia-Pacific Void, Green Acres traveled to Moscow 24-35 to take on the elite Mother Tuckers and held off a Monday night rally 115.02 to 113.02. Rashad White had 109 yards and 2 scores, and Puka Nacua went off for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle had 99 yards and a 2-point conversion, and Jonnu Smith finished with 44 yards and a touchdown, all in overtime. And to be honest, we can say that that's probably the difference in this one. The Steelers had 3 sacks and 2 interceptions to go with a fumble recovery, and Chris Boswell finished with 2 field goals, including a 50-plus yarder and a couple of extra points. The elite Mother Tuckers were led by Bijan Robinson with 101 yards, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion. Justin Herbert added a touchdown, and Devon Achane added 69 yards and a score. Devontae Adams finished with 109 yards and a touchdown, and George Kittle collected 151 yards. Tony Pollard had 124 yards. The Bengals defense nearly helped pull off a comeback on Monday night with 3 sacks and an interception, but it wasn't enough. Green Acres closes the season 5-9 and will play in the consolation quarterfinals. The elite Mother Tuckers finish the season 6-8 and will get a consolation bye. In the European Void, More Than Conquerors traveled to Barcelona 1992 to face the Clash at Demon Head and won 107.16 to 78.14. Isaac Garendo was a key waiver pickup. He ended up with 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kyler Murray added 2 scores, and David Montgomery collected 84 yards and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb had 93 yards and a touchdown on Monday night, and Adam Thielen finished with 102 yards. Jordan Love and Tank Bigsby had touchdowns for the Clash at Demon Head. Jamison Williams and Christian Watson combined for 194 yards, though Watson also lost a fumble, and the Saints defense collected 2 sacks and an interception and a blocked kick. More Than Conquerors finishes the season 8-6, but ends up 3rd overall in the European Void Division because of divisional record, which is kind of a surprise in our tiebreaker scenarios. They settle for the number 6 seed as well because Loki Lebowski Thor jumps them, and we'll tell you more about that in a second. The Clash at Demon Head falls to 5-9 and will play in the consolation quarterfinals. Talking about the other European Void matchup, Loki Lebowski Thor hosted Minerva's Minions in Berlin 1929 and won 83.42 to 74.7. A very surprising low-scoring one here. Injuries to Kenneth Walker, Bucky Irving, and George Pickens killed the Minions before this one really got going. Jalen Hurts ended up with 3 touchdowns for Loki Lebowski Thor, and Chase Brown finished the deal with 123 yards and a score on Monday night. DeAndre Hopkins and Pat Freiermuth also reached the end zone. David Njoku and Patrick Mahomes had the lone touchdowns for the Minions. Saquon Barkley added 144 yards. Both teams finish 8-6 and will be in the playoffs, but the Minions end up claiming the European Void Division title because of the divisional record over More Than Conquerors and more points than Loki Lebowski Thor. Again, very surprising. Lebowski Thor makes league history, though, as the first 1-6 team to ever make the playoffs, winning 7 straight, and is the second hottest team headed into the playoffs behind Risky Business, who has an 8-game winning streak. And if Lebowski Thor wins their quarterfinal match, we might have 2 teams with 8-game winning streaks in the semifinals. That's pretty insane. Lebowski Thor is, of course, the number 5 seed on that side of the bracket, because they had the better divisional record than More Than Conquerors. Also surprising that that's part of the tiebreaker, but that's what it is. What a regular season that was, and now we're down to 6 who have a shot at winning it all. But what did the power rankings say? You know, this is going to be a tough field, and the power rankings in the regular season doesn't matter as much once the playoffs start, obviously. All these teams are over 500 and have been in our top 3 teams of the week list multiple times. All these teams earned their spots, including my Minions. So besides the final regular season rankings, let's actually look at the rankings, and which actually coincide with this other point of what I think is more important, the Green Bowl title percentages that these projections give us. And of course, Risky Business, our top-ranked team, has a whopping 31% chance to win it all. The computers are like, yep, that's the favorite. No one's even close. The next closest teams, remember the Titans, who's obviously our second-ranked team, 21% chance to win it all. My Minerva's Minions are surprisingly third with a 17% chance to win it all. It actually goes with the standings as well. Pounders has a 13% chance to win it all, so they don't feel as confident in Pounders being on that side of the bracket, I would assume. More Than Conquerors and Loki Lebowski Thor have a 9% chance, and I don't think it necessarily means they can't win their quarterfinal. I think it's because of the matchups for the semifinal, but I don't know. None of it really matters. It's just fun to look at. The games must be played. We know things can happen, and that's just the way it is. So everybody, good luck. That's the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow we preview our quarterfinal matchups and the consolation quarterfinals as well. We should have some good ones in Week 15 after all the smoke clears from the insane regular season finish. Before you go, check out the final power rankings, as that's always fun to see. Until next time, salut.